In today's episode, we have the pleasure of sitting down with Shri, the founder and managing director of MatZero, a startup committed to providing high quality, sustainable heating solutions for refugees in camps. Shri takes us through the inspiring journey of transforming MatZero from a simple idea into a physical prototype, sharing the challenges she has encountered, how she has built her team, and the invaluable lessons that she has learned along the way. If you're someone that's passionate about entrepreneurship, product design, manufacturing, and sustainability, this is definitely an episode that you don't want to miss. So without any further ado, here's the episode. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Curious Coconut Podcast. My name is Thong, and I'm here with Aadi, and we're also here joined by a very special guest of mine. Her name is Shri. Shri and I, we've known each other for quite a few years now, right, Shri?
Yeah, I was trying to work out how many years it's been, but
Yeah,
yeah, a while.
it's been quite a while, but Shri and I, we went to the same high school, long story short. And I kind of just stumbled across her LinkedIn profile, saw what she was doing, and I thought it was amazing. So I kind of invited her onto the podcast. And actually, Shri, why don't you introduce yourself to all of our guests?
Yeah, so I'm Shri, and I'm now the founder and CEO of MatZero, the startup that we'll be talking about today.
Awesome. So what do you do for work? What is MatZero, and how do you spend your days usually?
So MatZero is on a mission to alleviate some of the hardship that refugees, disaster relief, and some of rural communities face on a daily basis. And our first product we're starting with is a heating system. So it's an off-grid heating system that I designed at university, which consists of three parts: a solar panel, a battery, and a heated mat. So it's a quite a versatile product that can be deployed in sort of any situation, and provide warmth, comfort, and that support in those sort of harsh environments. Going back to your question on my day to day, no 2 days are the same. It's crazy trying to actually bring a physical product to market. You are here, there, and everywhere solving all sorts of problems that you didn't even know were going to be problems. So it's hard to describe what a sort of a day in a life in the world of MatZero is, but it's exciting.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds really cool. So your product, it's like completely off the grid, right? So the solar panel charges the battery and then the battery provides heat for the mat.
Yeah, so it can be used completely off grid, but if you do have electrical infrastructure, you could use a combination of battery mat if your grid is unstable, or just mat if you have some constant power. So yeah, it's all plug and play and modular depending on your situation.
And what kind of mat is it? Is it like a camping type of mat or like a bigger thing?
Yeah, so we actually have a slight product range, hopefully to expand that as well. But we have like a topper for if you already have some sort of mattresses or a mats that you already use. And then we also have the traditional more like camping mat for when there is nothing. Yeah, so we have two product variations at the minute.
Cool, cool,
Aw-
cool.
Awesome. Before I ask you more about the mat, actually, I kind of wanted to ask you how you started off this project. So what inspired you to start MatZero?
So a bit of background. So I studied design at technology at university. Actually, the subject that where me and Tom bonded the most in
Yeah.
high school, which was a lot of fun. But I was definitely motivated to design a product that wasn't just adding to sort of consumerism and only that wealthy people could afford that kind of thing. So I was a bit stubborn on that, and part of that reason was sort of my upbringing in lots of different countries. I'd seen, I guess you're exposed to different environments that a classic English Dutch girl would not be exposed to. So I was motivated to combine sort of my love for design, environment, and I guess helping people in these situations. So it's a very much a combination of all those things that motivated me to do this project.
Yeah, sounds really amazing. Um, One question I have is, because I'm assuming this is a not-for-profit, right? So how do you find the funding for it?
We actually are for profit.
Oh, okay.
I would like to develop a non-for-profit arm of the business later on. But yeah, we made that decision pretty early on to be for-profit for that exact reason, to attract funding and investment to actually bring this product to market. You
Mm-hmm.
can't do much without capital. So yeah, we kind of, that was like a strategy decision, I suppose, that we made pretty early on. But with the hopes and aspirations to in the future have a MatZero Foundation or some sort of organization within that specifically revolves around our product and what we're trying to do.
So I'm just curious, since you mentioned you're trying to serve refugees, right? Um, do you like expect refugees to buy the product, or do you expect like other companies that are providing refugee services to buy the product and then give it to refugees?
Yeah, so yeah, definitely a product that would be procured by an NGO or relief service.
Okay.
But I think it's going to end up being a combination of us running specific programs that are donor based. So in a way, acting like an organization where we would have specific funding come in to then deploy these mats in areas of need, um, or direct procurement with NGOs. So there's a few options there. Yeah.
Right. But this is definitely more B2B, right? Than straight straight to the customer.
Yeah, I get B2G, I guess, or
Right.
B2B. However, we our first sort of initial launch, we are hoping, well, we will be going B2C just to get it going, serve other sectors as well for the mat. So yeah, there's kind of a lot of arms to this basically, yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I think
Um,
yes.
yeah, go on.
You can go ahead. Thong, it's fine.
Yeah. No, I wanted to ask you about the mat itself and how you've kind of come up with the design. Did you have to take any safety precautions and all of that sort of thing when you were designing the mat itself?
Yeah, so the idea for the heating system, obviously it's a we we found a technology that's really efficient in creating heat. A
Hmm.
lot of the problem with heat is that you need a large amount of power to then generate heat. So yeah, with the with the laws of physics, it was quite difficult to find something that did that so efficiently. And that's
Hmm.
why we're saying like heat the person, not the space, because that's a lot more energy efficient and effective when trying to keep someone warm. You need a
Hmm.
lot less energy to do it in the first place as well. So yeah, our heaters have been specifically designed for the application with, yeah, of course, high consideration to safety. Is that what is one of the problems we're trying to solve, is the safety of heating in the first place? Um, so yeah, at the moment, as far as I'm aware, no other heating product has our heater technology in it. We spent the last sort of year and a bit developing those, so that's been quite a journey doing those.
Yeah, and what's the manufacturing process like? Because I'm assuming you have so many different moving components. So I'm just curious, where do you manufacture and how do you like go about managing that?
So yeah, at the minute, we're manufacturing in the UK, and it's still a process. Like we're going into batch manufacture, in next month, really, and then we have to work through those scale up issues. But yeah, at the minute we're in the UK, so it's all in one country. It's then okay to manage that way. It's pretty good. We have partnerships with our manufacturers, and it's been an excellent journey, like working with them on how to design the mat and actually, yeah, get it out there. So
What's
yeah, it's been a
batch
process.
manufacturing? Sorry, I don't know
So
that term.
small volume.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're making like what is it, 20 of these mats. So really small volume.
Yeah.
A lot of the processes differ from when you're mass manufacturing.
Yeah.
Um, that changes. You invest in tooling, etc.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's to make sure you can iterate through many different versions of the mat. So you can figure
Yeah,
out,
so
if
we
there's any problems with it.
exactly. We've gone through like a year of development. I've been to Jordan with the mat for focus groups. We've done focus groups in the UK. We've done countless lab tests in
Hmm.
cold environment chambers. So now we've come to a design where like, okay, we think this is it. We're now going to bring these mats to Nepal this winter to test with a remote village there. and then hope to get really rich feedback from that to then further improve the design so that post winter, well, this winter, we can then make those sort of final adjustments before we kind of roll out. But design's never finished. Development is constant. At some
Yeah.
point, we need to put a pin in it.
Yeah. I can imagine you having multiple iterations of the mat, right?
Yeah,
What
we've had a
version are you
lot.
guys on now?
Oh gosh. Uh, I want to say like 6 or 7.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Yeah. I can imagine,
yeah,
yeah.
it's especially with our heaters, but we're not using electric like cabling like you see in electric blankets and mattress toppers at the minute,
Yeah.
for safety reasons and durability reasons. So yeah, our heaters have taken a lot of iteration of getting the right connectors and the right amount of heat output, etc. So yeah, that's been a journey.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like, if it's okay to talk about it. I don't know if there's any technical secrets that you don't want to share, but do you mind sharing about, like, how the heating system that you're developing is different from like other general like heated blankets or things like that? Because I'm quite new to this and I haven't really talked to anyone about it.
Yeah, so for one of the main things for us is the sort of safety and durability of our heaters. So we're using a printed chemical ink to produce our heaters, so they're entirely flexible. So like imagine, you can completely scrunch it up and it would be okay. Likewise, if you were to damage the heater, say put a nail through it or cut it, it would still work. And find an alternative route to function. So in that and not cause any sort of detrimental damage to the product. So in that way, yeah, we're very we're much better than an electric blanket as there's a huge amount of fires associated with those when the wires are damaged, etc. So yeah, that's where we stand out with our sort of safety on that as well. And the efficiency is so much better with our heaters.
Okay, okay, sounds great.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing I found when browsing your website was that you guys are also very proud to be sustainable as well. Do you want to talk about the sustainability aspect of your business as well?
Yeah, so I mean, with the starting off with the actual system, it doesn't produce any CO2, no toxic fumes, no emissions at all with the heating process compared to, yeah, using gas heaters, for example, or an open fire. In that way,
Mhm.
yeah, we don't emit any CO2. With the actual technology, it's more of a long-term project than our initial launch of the map, but we're definitely looking at ways we can make our supply chain and eco materials, etc. But that is a future iteration of the map. Maybe map 12, I don't know, we'll see. But within that, what we are doing now, with that is in our power, is making the whole product repairable. So including the right to repair within the product. So with the battery, for example, the actual cells of the battery are swappable. So if they, in 5, 6 years when they're no longer maybe working as efficiently, you can swap them out and still have the same casing. Likewise with all the components, they're all standard so that you could replace them if damaged. And with our mats as well, if an element of the mat is damaged, you can replace it or repair it depending on sort of the how extremely damaged it is. So, yeah,
Mhm.
we're doing those small steps now and hope to make those big steps later in the sustainability front.
Yeah, no, that's definitely great. Like if something goes wrong, obviously you wouldn't want to replace like the whole system, right? So having something like that in place, being able to switch out like the individual batteries, that's great to hear for sure.
Yeah, and that was one of our biggest feedbacks, like going to refugee camps and speaking to NGOs is like, this is great, but a lot
Mm.
of our products break after a couple months,
Yeah.
which would then put concern onto, these people. So, yeah, it's kind of a way to not only extend the product's life, but to kind of not make the product obsolete after a couple of months, keep using
Mm.
it. So yeah.
Yeah, I want to ask about the solar panels a little bit. Um, like how big are these solar panels, and like does each mat owner like get their own personal solar panel?
So yeah, I mean, And it's a difficult question to answer because, like I said in the beginning, it's all really modular. So the solar panel, battery, and mat is like your extreme case, right? Completely off grid, no electrical infrastructure. And that's a running off a 200-watt solar panel.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that depends on where you live in the world. Your solar requirements might be slightly different. So, for
Yeah.
example, when we're looking at deploying these in Ukraine, uh, typically the Ukrainian winters are very dark and very gloomy, and therefore, solar is probably not the best way to power and charge the battery. And there are alternative methods as well. So it's a difficult question to answer because it depends on where you are,
Mm-hmm.
what infrastructure you have, but the option is there to go completely off grid. Yeah.
But like one solar panel would probably charge like multiple like batteries at the time, right?
It's a one-to-one sort
Oh,
of
okay.
ratio. But if you have, for example, in Jordan, they have a solar farm there that would, of course, charge multiple mats and power multiple
Okay.
batteries.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds great. Now I'm wondering, you started this company like 2 years ago. What are the major challenges that you've faced so far, and how have you dealt with them and tried to overcome them?
There's an endless list of
Yeah.
challenges there.
What would you start
I
like the
have to
biggest
pick
ones?
one. Um, that's it. I don't know. This whole journey is so problem identifying, problem solving. So each one, I guess, each problem can be a challenge, right, that you face. I think, yeah, our tech was definitely a challenge to get right and get the connectors right and the design. So that in itself was a really difficult challenge. But in and now I think the biggest challenge that we face is that scaling journey and facing those growth pains of a startup. We're a very small team. We have a product. How do we get from A to B in a smooth way? That's sort of, I guess, our biggest upcoming challenge is that scalability, making our product affordable, etc. And that only comes with scale.
Mm-hmm. And when are you guys planning to launch the product?
So, very excitingly, but in November we will be sort of launching our kind of pre-order,
Mhm.
um what do I call it? We were launching our pre-orders. So that's really exciting. That's so soon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then after that we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's definitely
Yeah.
really exciting. Can't wait to see that. What how
Me
you guys
too.
how you guys launching this, by the way? Would it be like a crowdfunding sort of um thing, or how are you selling it
Um,
to?
so we're not going down the sort of crowdfunding Kickstarter route.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we're sort of opening to the public on our pre-order like a list to get people to sign up for it to have these mats. But we're also be doing a lot of collaborations with sort of NGOs as well
Right.
to raise money to do larger trials. So, like I mentioned, this winter is Nepal trial,
Yeah.
which is actually UK government funded, and then hopefully the year after we can do much larger field trials with our partner NGOs.
And
Mm.
who's like your target customer at the moment? You mentioned you want to sell directly to consumers first, right?
Yes. So I guess in so B2G world, we've got NGOs, governments, local municipalities, etc., and then emergency aid agencies, etc. But for yeah, on the consumer side, you have your like leisure and camping, van life, people, even for heating your home. I mean, I sit on one on the sofa and it's fantastic. So there's multiple different, yeah, customers that could benefit from our mat, especially with the sort of our issues we see in the UK as well of the cost of heating your home. This is it's a very effective way of keeping you warm and more cost effective as you're heating you, not your whole house. So I
Yeah.
think well, I know there's numerous applications for it.
Yeah, I think we definitely could use some in Melbourne because Melbourne winters get like kind of cold and houses are built like shit here, so like there's always just wind coming through the house. So if I had my personal
Yeah, you're
heating
telling
device,
me.
it'd be pretty great.
Yeah. Going back to NGOs that you said that you've talked to in the past, I was also wondering what sort of partnerships you have created um, ever since you started this project that have been crucial for MatZero's growth.
Really good question. So for me, I've been really keen on a co-design process through this whole journey. I don't want to sort of rock up with my mat and say, this is good for you, this is going to help your life when
Yeah.
really I don't know that. So for me, it was been so important to talk to our end users and our customers, and in this case, they're different, to understand what their needs are, to
Mhm.
then be able to kind of fulfill those through the products. So, yeah, the NGO partnerships have been crucial because from their point of view, I've learned so much of what they need to procure a product, where their needs are within the humanitarian world as well. So that's been really fantastic to learn that way. And then from refugees themselves or people in these type of environments, getting their feedback on the mat has been really powerful and helped the design. So I'd say those have been extremely important to the MatZero journey.
Hmm. And I'm just curious about your team. You mentioned you have a small team. How'd you meet them and like what's that dynamic like?
So I'm very proud to have a fully female team. We are two full-time, so myself and my colleague, and we have one part-time like administrative role. And they're both two fantastic women. I'm so proud to be working with them, and it's so exciting to be sort of in a fully female team. We obviously have a lot of we have contractors as well that feel like they're part of the team at this point, which is really
Hmm.
exciting.
And how'd
And
you
we have
meet the co-founders, like your colleagues, I guess, not co-founders?
so I think it was Indeed. Yeah, we put a
Oh,
job ad out. Yeah. That's for my head of operations. That's how I found her. And for the sort of my EA, that was through one of my investors and directors in the company. Kind of onboarded her, and I never regretted it. It's been fantastic.
that's
Wow.
nice. And a bit of an odd question, but I think Tong mentioned that like your colleagues are a bit older than you. So like how does it feel? Like is there any struggles there or like do you feel weird at all like managing people that are slightly older than you?
Yeah, I think everyone's older than me. Uh, yeah, I was a big concern of mine. So not only being female, but being, 24.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is quite scary sometimes, but I've kind of learned that uh it's not a big deal. You know, you have a job to do and people respect that. So yeah, it doesn't bother me anymore. Our dynamic is fantastic. We have such a mutual understanding and respect for each other that it works really well. And I hope with when we expand the team, um, that we can continue that.
Mm.
Yeah, that's great. Like I think especially at the start, it's good to have a team that's focused on the same goal because then it doesn't matter, right? Like who's as long as we're all working towards the same goal, we can all have our own
Exactly.
duties and just work towards
Everyone's so
them.
motivated for the mission and love the product, love the brand we're creating. And that, yeah, you can really tell that with everyone I speak to and they meet my colleagues. It really shines through. And so, yeah, when we expand the team, I really hope to keep that up.
Mm. I'm kind of still dwelling on the fact that you met your operations manager through Indeed, was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
from the people that I've talked to, especially most people have been struggling to kind of find a team that kind of, shares like the company
Yeah.
vision and all of that. And
Yeah.
that's quite fantastic that you were able to,
So I think it was really lucky. Like we interviewed a lot of people, and so I kind of staged it in a few different stages of the interview process. One was just a very relaxed chit chat, like who are you, where do you live, what are your hobbies, like very relaxed.
Yeah.
And I remember getting off the phone with the head of our operations, Mila, and I like ran down the stairs and I was like, yes, found her. I was so like just the gel, like I didn't even know if she wanted the job at this point. I was like, yep,
That's the
that's
one.
it. Like
Yeah.
yeah, so I definitely got lucky there, but you just feel you have to gel as a team because it's so small and it's so intense what you're trying to do. You work really
Hmm.
hard. There's no lunch breaks involved, you know. So yeah, that was we kind of lucked out there. But I think yeah, we advertised everywhere, did a lot of interviews so that you kind of know who you're not gelling with and who you do gel. So it was a big step, your first hire. But yeah, it's been working out so far. Touch wood.
Okay, I'm potentially gonna ask a really stupid question, but what does gel mean? Like getting along?
It means like yeah, like how you click.
Okay, okay, just
Yeah,
vibe check. Yeah.
yeah. Maybe it's an English word. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
don't know. And just another one. Like what was the interview process like? How like did you have any criteria that you were looking for, or just like just seeing whoever was most passionate or like clicked with best?
Yeah, so I kind of we wrote for the advert, we wrote skills that we would require for the jobs that needed doing. And we kind of linked that with experience and qualities within that person.
Mhm.
And then yeah, with the interview process, I those as what I was looking out for was those particular qualities, skills, experiences. Um, yeah, and then you kind of match them up as you go through the interview process. But for me, it was, am I going to have someone who can work really hard, really passionate about the cause and believes in it? Those were the sort of top things. Like, why are you applying for this job? Is it just another job and it doesn't matter if you don't get it, or can you really kind of relate to? Um, so yeah, that's what I was looking out for.
Like how did you differentiate that though? Like trying to figure out whether someone's telling the truth or they're just trying to get a job. Like did you have any like
Um,
criteria or sense for that? I don't
Well,
know.
I set everyone a bit of a challenge. I'm trying to think what I did now. I gave them a sort of a fake scenario of I think it was water sanitation in a village, and what like get them to basically design like a product or a system that would help solve this.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that was a big differentiator with people, because it was a similar environments, similar cause to what we're trying to do. So that really shone through like people who yeah, took time with their presentation and people who didn't do so much. So yeah, and it was fascinating to see what people came up with. So
Mhm. Yeah, I think with those open-ended questions, you get all sorts of responses, right?
hmm yeah, we got like extremely detailed presentations with every step laid out, and
Mm.
we got some that were very generic, sort of Wikipedia searched, and yeah, it was a I'm not hating on that, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was a broad spectrum, and so we staged the interviews into three parts. So first the initial chat, and then a bit more the actual interview based on the role and the presentation. I think there was another one involved as well, but we tried to move it quite quickly, and you did get an impression pretty quickly. Meeting people face to face as well was a
Yeah.
big one for me.
I'm just curious as well, whether there's any, because usually when you do startups, right, and you talk to the investors usually ask you what makes you different from everyone else. So what are your competitors like? Is there anyone doing something similar that you're doing right now?
Um, Quick answer, no. There's heating products out there,
Yeah.
which we I can't speak, differentiate ourselves through, the quality of our product, the heat output, the efficiency. We have smart controls on there so that it is super efficient compared to products, so that we can have that off-grid element
Yeah.
to it, etc. So yeah, with product wise, we really stand out, I think, as top tier,
Yeah.
safe and sustainable heating. In terms of putting into these harsh environments, as far as I know, no one's attempting it, and on this journey, it's really difficult, and I think that's why no one's done it before. But yeah, I think what attracts, makes us different is sort of our mission and goals, and the way we're doing it with the co-design process, putting our mats out there as quickly as possible. Yeah, I think that's what seems to have worked so far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and how'd you guys come up with the name? Because I think that's a really cool name, like MatZero and then zero, you know?
Thank you. I came up with the name. It sounds silly, but I wanted a two-part name. I thought I don't know, for me, brands with the sort of a two-word name were really powerful. Not sure
Mm.
why. So yeah, obviously the mat because it's a mat.
Yeah.
But zero because of, yeah, it's cold conditions, kind of first of its kind. It has a number of kind of meanings to it. Same with the red. It also can apply when we do our second product of a cooling mat because it will also be zero. So it's it's timeless.
Yeah, you have many different applications like sustainability, temperature, like the version of
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. So we have a lot of compliments on our names, so it's always a good sign with that.
Yeah, I think I really love like simple yet meaningful names
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they stick in your mind, right? And if you're trying to
Yeah.
create your own brand, I think that's simplicity and like kind of uniqueness are like two key aspects that I would certainly be attracted towards. You can have a really complicated name and it would sound cool, but then people will just forget. But I feel like Mad Zero is just really easy to remember and then just like, ah, I like that.
Yeah, people forget my name and then go, "Oh, you're the MatZero lady, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
that's me." Yeah, it's really nice that I don't mind being the MatZero lady. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a that your branding is working then.
Yeah, yeah. And I think not to sound cocky or anything, but our branding's pretty powerful, especially in the humanitarian world. Nothing so like sleek and sort of simple and minimalist, and that's what I think also is really exciting about our products. We're putting well-designed goods into, environments that don't typically receive quality products.
hmm
And that's what people appreciate with us as well. So yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of being cocky, what would you say are like your major milestones that you accomplished or any achievements that you're really proud of so far?
Uh, I mean, so far I'm just, yeah, kind of proud to be doing this whole thing. I think if we do this podcast in a couple months' time, I'll be super proud of having completed the product and that have them in the pool. So I guess my biggest milestone is yet to come. But yeah, the next few months are going to be very exciting. Making our first production run and putting them in the pool, that's going to be huge for me.
Yeah, sounds exciting.
Yeah. We certainly can't wait. We'll watch you grow.
I'll
That's so
update you.
exciting for us
Yeah.
as well. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, we're documenting everything so that we can kind of,
Awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
start sharing those videos soon, and yeah, kind of get people to follow the journey because I think like on your podcast, I think people are interested in startup journeys, and I certainly am. So
Yeah.
yeah, kind of follow the journey, guys.
Amazing. Yeah, definitely will. Um, where do you see MatZero in a few years from now? What's your vision for it?
Ugh, I'm just trying to see it through to next week, honestly. Um, my dream, my aspiration for this company, I'm really excited with sort of the NGO uh, programs that we could run in the future and deploy these in places where it needs to be. If we're a company that can be agile enough to react to disasters and crisis with our technology, then I feel like that's a job well done. If we could have deployed our mats in the Turkey Syria earthquake, for example, or when the Ukraine war first broke out, or Gaza, that for me that would be huge if we are able to kind of react to those circumstances and help save lives basically with our mat. That would be good.
Yeah, I think that's a great goal to be working towards, because I think for better or for worse, there's always like, crises going on around the world. But if you
As
have a
much as I'd
product,
love to solve that problem, I'm not
yeah,
going to. I don't
yeah.
claim to, but our product can really alleviate some of that, and yeah, it can be life-saving, especially in these sort of desperate times.
I think we've been going for a while now, so I think we're gonna go towards the closing section of the podcast. There's a few questions that we like to ask our guests at the end, but one of them is, looking back, is there anything that you would do differently, to what you've done so far in your journey? And if so, like
Um,
what would it be?
That's a very hard question because I think a lot of the mistakes have then led to lessons learned and improvement of maybe the product or business decisions. So without that mistake, so to speak, you wouldn't have learned that. So I guess, yeah, at the minute, no, it's all been part of it. And that's why we're in such an exciting stage today, is because of those mistakes. So
Yeah,
no, I wouldn't change it.
it was all part of the plan
That's all
all
part
along.
of
All
it.
part, yeah, I was meant to do this. But oops.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, a lot of young people aspire to be entrepreneurs. Now that you're an entrepreneur, I guess. What's a piece of advice you would give those those people aspiring to be one?
Um, for me, I think, being young and you don't have as much responsibility is like the best time to do it. Like, why not?
Mm.
And I think it's a very exciting sort of life, like I guess a lifestyle way, I guess a way of life. It's stressful, that's for sure, and it's a 24-hour job, but it is extremely exciting, and the pace you learn at is incredible. So if you can do it, do it. That's my advice. Take that leap.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's great, because I think now is the time when we can explore whatever we want.
Yeah,
Um,
you have nothing to lose at this point. This is how
yeah.
I saw it. Because yeah, I had to make a decision. Do I try and find I guess a normal 9 to 5 job, or do I start this? Didn't know what I was getting myself into. Um,
Yeah.
maybe naively, but uh, yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, that's great. And another bit of a random question that we recently added is, do you believe in any conspiracy theories? And if so, what are they and why?
Conspiracy theories. Oh, like on the news, like
Like
world
any,
news.
like, aliens, AI taking over the world, your
Oh,
basics.
um, I wouldn't say I believe in conspiracy theories, but I am very superstitious. So there's
Okay.
a I will, you know, wear the same socks to run a race. Like I won't go like walk under a signpost. Friday the 13th is not a great day. Like
Wait,
I'm very
why are you not
superstitious.
allowed to walk under a signpost? I haven't heard that one before.
There's a yeah, my friend told me about it once, and then it stuck, and I couldn't like now, a road sign where it's like,
Yeah.
X M25 that way or whatever. You're not meant to walk under them. You're I don't know why. So
Wait, what?
now no, I can't.
Will it
Wait,
fall
what
on
if
your
it's
head
like,
or something? Or
yeah.
is it?
Maybe
Oh,
it was meant to be letters, I don't know, but
oh.
yeah.
Wait, what if it's like
So
across the entire road though? Like, there's like ones that just go across the entire road.
oh, in a car, yeah, okay, that doesn't count. It's on the pavement. So
Yeah.
Okay.
even yeah, on my bicycle, I'll just kind of swerve around it. But
No, okay. I'll
Uh,
keep that in mind next time I see one.
yeah.
I've started a trend now. Everyone's
Yeah. It's becoming the next big thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
Um,
crystals, screw crystals. I'm avoiding road signs at all times now.
Exactly.
yeah. Um, And another question we ask all of our guests as well is whether they have a favorite book, and if so, which one would that be, or if they have a favorite
Oh
podcast.
yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay, there we go.
Um,
Yeah.
no, I remember. Sorry, podcast or book?
Either, just anything
Or
you can
both?
recommend. Yeah, or both.
Um, well, podcast, obviously this one.
Oh.
No, it's similar actually. The How I Built This series.
Oh, I built this.
Have you heard of this? Is it Guy Raz or something? What's the host? It's about startups. Surprise.
Right.
It's interviewing. It's very similar. It's interviewing. Yeah, I guess now, kind of successful founders and talking about how they built their company. So literally from start day one of idea to however many years later, multi-billion-dollar company. How did you do it? And I think
Mhm.
it's fascinating how every journey is so different. And sometimes when I feel stressed, like, oh, I'm not doing the right thing, it actually reminds me of there's no right way and wrong way of doing it. Yeah, and I think it as from a young startup perspective, it's so interesting to hear how people could actually bring idea to reality. So that's podcast. That's probably my favorite. And then book wise, a bit cliche, but The Subtle Art of Not Giving a fuck. Don't know if I'm
No.
allowed to swear. Um, that was a good book.
Yeah.
It was a good kind of reality check in a way.
Yeah, I really liked it. Like Tom recommended to me. And that was like the first self-help book I read. And
Yeah,
yeah, I think
same
it
here.
oh great. And yeah, I think it hit me really hard because it was the first one. Um, but yeah, I think yeah, it's definitely a very good book, and Mark Benson is
Yeah,
just amazing.
first and last for me, but it was good. I actually think no book yet has really kind of, I guess, changed my perspective a little bit. So
Hmm.
yeah, it was pretty powerful for that.
Yeah, that's great. And lastly, is there any message that you would like to leave our audience with? This could be a plug for yourself or like any other thing you want to share.
Uh, yeah, I'll do a plug. Yeah, go follow my personal LinkedIn, Shri Hollema, and MatZero, Instagram, YouTube, and we will have a TikTok, just to follow along with our journey of product development and soon to in Nepal as well. So will be exciting content coming.
Great. We'll definitely be following along. And yeah, thank you for coming on the podcast. We wish you all the best with your
Thanks for
future
having me.
endeavors.
Thank you.